Si Aquino at Chris nanlisik ang mga mata matapos lumitaw ang actual video footage ng kanilang ina nang sabihin ito mismo na get them out of the Philippines sa mga Amerikano. Utos ng Cory na imatapon sa Hawaii si Aquino Sr. at ang pamilya Marcos. Maliwanag pa sa sikat ng araw sa kanilang lumang video na lumitaw. Walang kawala ang magkapatid na sina Balsi at Chris Aquino at hindi na nila maikakaila pa ang linyahan ng aktres na si Giselle Sanchez na gumanap bilang kanilang ina sa pinakamalaking pelikula ng taon, ang Made in Malacanang. Nang ipag-utos nito na palayasin na mula sa bansa sina dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr. at ang pamilya nito. Sa naturang actual video footage na kumpirmang nakipagsabwatan nga si Cory sa Amerika upang mapatalsik si FEM sa kanyang kapangyarihan. Dito rin napatunayan na totoong sinabi ni Cory ang nasabing linya. Dahil dito, sobrang nasobsob ang mga kakampings matapos tawagin nilang saksakan ng fake news ang naturang pelikula. At na wala o manong ebidensya ang mga ito. Narito ang kadalang naging pambabalahura at ang nasabing matibay na ebidensya na pinanghahawakan ni Direk Daryl Yap. Sinungaling yung movie ni Direk Daryl Yap na Made in Malacanang. Basta ako, mas maniniwala ako doon sa kwento ng mga madre na hindi mahilig magbadrong ang mga Aquino. Hashtag no to fake news, hashtag Ninoy is my hero, and hashtag Cory is my hero. Napaka-cheap ng MIM. Kumbaga sa social media, isang napakalaking fake news. Matalino kang tao kamo, pero pumayag sa low quality movie? Ito ang pinagkaiba ng movie sa documentary. Ang movie pwede maging chismis. Ang documentary, lalapagan ka ng ebidensya. Ibig sabihin, hanggang movie na lamang sila dahil karamihan sa kwento nila ay walang matibay na ebidensya. Ekes, Made in Malacanang. Samantala, narito naman ang alas na patunay ni Direk Daryl Yap sa bawat eksenang nasa ilalim ng kanyang direksyon.
I want to remind Mr. Marcos that it was he who called for snap elections, and once the people decided to participate, he better watch out if he threatens to frustrate their will again. I'm afraid he will have an angry people on his hands.
Mrs. Aquino, you keep making what sometimes sound like veiled threats and sometimes not so veiled. What do you mean he'd better watch out?
Well, all along I have asked the people, not to engage in any violence, and so far they have listened to me. And if you may recall, just after my husband was assassinated, I did go on radio in our country, and I asked the people, to observe peaceful means and not to resort to violence, and they did obey me. But this time, they have a greater stake in this. It's not just Cory Aquino, but the future of our children and our children's children. So if they think that they have been cheated out of an election, I'm afraid they might not listen to me anymore if I still insist on going about this peacefully.
Well, let me put it to you this way. You are running for president of the Philippines. You are putting yourself forward as the leader of your nation. And now, if I understand what you're telling me correctly, you're saying if the election doesn't go the right way, you may not be able to control even your own followers. That doesn't speak very well for your ability to be able to run the country.
Well, Ted, the people who are with me now are so convinced that I will win. And if Marcos resorts to terrorism or to gross cheating, then the people who have supported me may finally think that the electoral process is just not advisable anymore.
Are you raising the specter, the possibility of something approaching even civil war?
No, not civil war, as long as I can manage it. In fact, I have said that if Mr. Marcos cheats me out of this election, then I will call for daily demonstrations. However, if these daily demonstrations will still not get us the desired results, then I am afraid that the people might not listen to me anymore.
Mr. President, I don't remember any election in recent Filipino history, in fact, even in not-so-recent Filipino history, where the loser did not claim that there were technical and other reasons of foul. So,
There has never-
and perhaps you remember one, but I don't.
I think you're right. Filipinos are not known to be good losers. They're always our great losers, and they never concede. But in this particular matter, Ted, I am so certain of victory that these declarations of my opponent that there will be a civil war in this country indicate how desperate they are. I certainly am concerned about your attitude that you feel that there would be cheating if I win, and there would be no cheating if she wins. No, I think it's the other way around.
I realize it is a hypothetical question, but in every election, someone has to win, someone has to lose, and I wonder if you would address the hypothetical question, though. If you lose, will you stand down?
I have never thought of it, but certainly if there is no question which nullifies the results of the election, as I said, I will perform my duty as president in accordance with law.
Your claims and the claims of your supporters that you are so highly decorated are fabricated claims.
I don't
But in point of
think that is the story. It's a story about my guerrilla group. It's not about the medals. Even here, when the case of libel was filed, the publisher here did not question those medals. It's only you, Americans, who question it. I am not going to degrade myself by talking about those medals. If the American government wants them back, they can have them back. It's a good thing that we did not burn them. It's a good thing that we did not burn them at the end of the war, when you refused to give us our back salaries and refused to recognize all of us, and we were not entitled to education benefits, we were not entitled to medical benefits. But I was one of those who stopped our people from turning communist, especially the veterans, because we did not fight for communism, we fought for freedom. Now I wonder whether we also fought for the Americans and the American flag, to which we had sworn when MacArthur inducted us into the U.S. outfit. I have no regrets, however, about having fought in Bataan. I have no regrets about fighting beside American soldiers. I have no regrets about fighting under American officers. And probably if our country were ever to be attacked again, I would do the same thing. But I would certainly raise some questions about the conduct of the American government in relation to the veterans of the last war. I am certainly very disappointed.
Mr. President, the question is not raised about the courage of Filipinos who fought against the Japanese during the Second World War. But the question, as you know, and you know this is not something I'm making up, you have seen those newspaper articles yourself and you have seen some of the documents, suggests that the guerrilla group that you claim to have led, in fact, either did not exist at all or was just a tiny group that played no major role.
Then why is it recognized by the intelligence officer of General MacArthur in a paper which is certified too by the head of the archives of the United States? Now look, I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you do, I'm going to walk out.
You've had some rather disparaging remarks to make about Mrs. Aquino, not the least of them being that, in effect, she has experience as a housewife, but little else. Do you think she has gained in stature over the last few weeks? And do you think it is possible that if she is elected, that she could serve effectively as president of the Philippines?
I still believe that you need somebody who has been experienced to run our government in this time of crisis. I have nothing against her, but certainly when, say, your son is sick and he needs an operation or he needs the expertise of a good doctor, you don't pick just anybody who has honesty and sincerity in order to cure your son. In that situation where she has no experience whatsoever is something that we have to accept and admit realistically that she had the nerve to run without any experience whatsoever, as she admitted, and it's not me who has said that she is inexperienced. It is her who said, what do I know about running a government? And as an ordinary citizen, I would cry out immediately against anybody who says that being given the presidency. But as President of the Republic, I think it's my duty to call attention to this danger.
I know that you made a great deal, and it is an excellent rhetorical device, of saying, yes, you are inexperienced. You are inexperienced in corruption, you are inexperienced in crime, you are inexperienced in dictatorship. But let's be candid about it, you are also inexperienced in leadership. Now, there is a difference even between running a campaign as the widow of a martyred and beloved leader and running a country that is, as you yourself have pointed out, in a great deal of trouble. To those who are neutral about you, what do you say about your lack of experience?
Well, more than experience, I think it is credibility that counts. And the truth of the matter is that the Marcos government has lost all credibility, and no way can Mr. Marcos possibly lead our country back to recovery because the Filipino people no longer believe in him. I realize that I am inexperienced, but as Mr. Marcos himself confessed, it took him 6
Anong masasabi niyo ukol rito mga kababayan? Just comment down below sa comment section and give a massive thumbs up kung nagustuhan mo ang paksang ating tinalakay. At huwag kalilimutang mag-subscribe sa channel na ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong walang sawang panonood.